Hey everyone, so it has been a really long time since I posted any videos. I believe a month has passed. And today I want to talk about, or I want to show a CSS UI for this particular thing that you are seeing on your screen. This is a loading kind of a UI by Linear. So if you have used Linear app, this is basically a tool that I use at my company and we are using it for productivity. So it has a loading screen and that really caught up my eye because for once that loading screen was not disappearing. And I saw, yeah, it looks like a game, right? There is like these two uh, dots that are moving in, and there is this particular dot that is like having a ping pong action between those two rods kind of dots. And I just tried to think that why don't we make this, and to make it even more exciting I decided we would be using CSS functions and CSS if, something that has been really new and is a bleeding edge technology for CSS. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to use Chrome Canary, and as you can see I already have an example in place, and we are going to have an x-ray vision of this, like how it has worked and like what are the things that we need to understand to make this particular UI. So the very first thing is, or like the way I want to start is let's go to the design. So I will open Figma right now, and I need a very particular thing to make this, which is how can I make those dots? And here is the answer. So if I were you and I was making this particular loading screen, I would make a rect first, and I would give it a equal size. I could have just made it with shift, so that is also another way to make rect with the shift. And now you have equal size rect here. You could just make it something like 25. That was the size I was aiming for, and give it some border or corner radius of 25 as well. So now you need to just repeat it. So just equidistance repetitions. Let's just say that these are separated by a distance of 5. Yes, they are. And just make more of them like this. So as we saw in the example, there were like 25 of those, and we would also have to make 25. We have them equally separated now, and this is something that we need to export first of all. So yeah, I have already exported one, as you can see in my code pen, and this is how it looks. And we will do nothing on this, so there is like no changes in SVG or HTML. There are no lines of JavaScript. We can just close this tab, and the only thing we care about is CSS. So yeah, let's first do one thing, because you can already see it animated and all. I would be hiding the code that is not at the moment something that you should even consider or take care about, and we would be just trying to understand it step by step. Yeah, so I'll be removing every function, every keyframe. Those are some things that we want to understand first, and we will have great deal of examples for our understanding. But for now, what happens is these are commented out. As I can see, it didn't comment out the whole. Let's see. Okay, so we have commented out these lines, and we can see that we still have these dots. And let's just do one more thing, and I'm writing as you can see, some kind of a SAS kind of CSS, but these nested are CSS properties are like directly available in regular CSS. I'm not using something like SAS. This is regular CSS5 that we are using. Yeah. So the very first thing, we have made 4 colors here. One is BG, which is just used for the background. The other is dim, which is used for this dimmer dots, and the glow one, which is for glowing. And there is a bright option too, which is like for some of the dots. I used a bright option just because of some keyframes which are not showing 100% of the color and just moving to the next one. So these bright and glow are like interchangeable. We could have just used glow and got away with it, and it would have still shown the right effect. So we don't have to make these two, but these two or these three are actually the main things that we have to care about. The next thing is I have made a body tag, and I have just described it by background of this, and just place the items as centered. Nothing much to worry about here. So I can just make it minified. And now the very first thing that you might be wondering is what is OKLCH. I think because not everyone knows about it. So these are your P3 wider gamut colors that are available for you. This is better than RGB and HSL. You can read about it later. I have just opened this oklch.com. I will be linking it in the video description. So yeah, and let's keep going. Yeah, so we have a fill of dim which has made all these colors dim. I will just show like this is what we are actually dealing with by making this red. Okay, and here it is, like all of them are red right now, and let's get them back to dim. Great. And the next thing is I am saying I'm using an is, which is like a pseudo class, and I'm asking that if it is not nth of type n+4, then make it glow, which means the first, second, third would be glowing and nothing other than those. So this will make the first three glow, and I can just make sure to verify that by writing right here. So okay, I will not save because I know that I haven't logged in this because we are just testing on Canary version. And yeah, so we have these three dots colored as red. That's good. And now let's worry about the left column. And the reason why we are worrying about the left column is, as you can see here, this column is what we are focusing on. So just focus on this left part and don't worry about anything else. And that's like the way I want to start with. So this left column is right now colored like this, and we are saying that we want the animation for nth of type first, and we are calling a function here. Now don't worry if you don't understand what is a CSS function. I would be changing this function to normal, let's just say animation, like how animation was supposed to be without functions. So let's get that going first, so we can understand like how a single blink is happening. Once you understand a single blink, other things are just delays and all. So using animation delays or using animation durations is everything that I have used to make those dots appear in place and do those kind of animations. So you have to just care about one blink, and that would just help you out in everything. So I will just make another line of code after this, and I can just comment out my function. It's totally okay to comment it out, and I'm just going to write something like this, that I would want a blink animation keyframe with a duration of 2.5. If the var is not available, it's not for the moment, which is okay. A stepper function, I will be making sure that you understand steps. There are several other things in this step markup, which is this rule set provides something like steps, jump, none, and some other properties, and we will take a look at that. I will make sure to go through that as well. Yeah, so the very first thing is I would want my blink to work, right? So I will just enable these keyframes, which is like, hey, at 0% make it dim, at 100% make it bright. And because of this steps, it is happening in a step of 2. It is like not giving you the transition between them, and this is like what we wanted, right? This is the actual animation what it was like, because if we did something like linear, then we would see some kind of transitions happening, as you can see, and we don't want those. So this is how or where stepper comes in. I should really stop pressing command save. Yeah, so let's take a look at something like how these example or how these steps work. The linear animation goes as I showed you in a transition state, but these steps, and you can just pause, replay multiple times, or just visit this website, MDN Web Docs. You all might have known about this, and animation timing function. But if you haven't, just check it out. It's a very cool place to understand all of HTML, CSS, and JS. Yeah. So as you can see, the linear is a transition, but the stepper is something that says, hey, I would just make a step directly. I don't want to do these transitions. And this is exactly why we are using it. And I hope that this clears it out much better than any other definition would, because this is the uh, demonstration, which is like a picture is worth 1,000 words, and even more for a video. Yeah. So let's keep going. And now we have made a single blink. Woohoo! That's amazing. But let's now try to use the CSS function, and I would make sure that you understand the CSS function is returning. It is a function which is very similar to how you have functions in JavaScript, and it will be returning the same line as I have written below it. So, but how? How does it do that? Let's say take a look. So as we can see here, I will just be commenting out this and getting this part enabled, and you can see the blink is happening. Oh, there are several other blinks also happening because this get animation is now working. But it asks that give me a parameter of delay. Let me know what my delay is. If you do not provide me a delay, I will just take for granted that my delay is 0 second. Provide me a other parameter of duration. If you do not provide, I would assume that my animation duration is 2.5. And as a result, this is how function syntax looks like this is something you will have to learn. And I would be using my keyframe blink, and I would be giving the duration of 2.5 second or whatever duration you would provide me, a stepper which is like the same thing I showed you, and a delay and infinite. So this is the right hand side of animation, and we are getting this through get animation, just so we do not have to write a bunch of lines every time, and we are just done away with just writing the animation delay. Well, we could have just written it on the top as you might have thought, but still we would have to just query out the nth of type 1, 4, n plus 23. I do not know, because there is not a single animation. There is a get glow, and there are several other animations that get blink, they are happening. So it's much better to reduce our lines by just writing this function. And yeah, let's keep going. So for the first one, I have made a blink, and I have made a blink at some delay for the fourth one. So this whole thing is just a blink between 1 and 4, and I will just show you what I mean is by removing this glow effect. So now you can see 1 4 1 4. We are making this blink happen on the left column. Don't look at the right column at the moment. And because the 2 and 3 blinks are like always in a glow state, thus the whole effect looks like a rod, or a vertical rod for the left column is moving up and down. As you can see here, the dots only move by the second last element of the particular column, but on the right side they move all the way. So this is why our left side is just this much, just to make sure we are mimicking the effect. And yeah, this was all for the left side, and we got to understand get animations as the CSS functions. So let's keep moving. For the right side, we have something called n plus 23, which means that we have total how many 25 items, right? So it means 24 and 25, just let them glow like that is like a starting state. As you saw earlier, that I wanted some kind of a starting state to exist for this, which is what I have done with that. And now I am saying that give me a get glow, which is like a 25% glow here, a get animation here, a get glow here, and a get animation here. Let's understand what is this get glow, because we already know the get animation is a delay which just blinks my dots. So for further understanding like why I'm using get glow here, let's just change it to get animation right now. So, and because we are providing some symmetrical distances of time delay, so this was 0.625. I'm just calculating it on the go, because 0.625, 1.25, and now we have one that is like hidden, and then we have 23, which was like always glowing. I will just make sure we go through that again. And then 1 point, and just bear with me for the moment. 1.875, I'm just adding these two up. So yeah, as you can see here, what I have done is my dot number 23, which is like this particular dot, and these were 1 2 3 4 5 vertically, these were 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, 21 to 25. So we are on the last column now, on the rightmost column. And if we were to use this get animation directly with these kind of delays, it would work one way from top to bottom, but when we go back, because these animation delays just don't sync up correctly, uh, it didn't work. So this is why we made another function get glow, and that was to fix the issues of the animation not working both ways the way we wanted. Because for one side, if we wanted 25% of the duration or animation delay, but for the other side we wanted 75% of the animation delay. What I mean is, the animation delay across going back and forth was not equal, but our animations do not know that. They were giving us an equal animation delay, which we couldn't configure. So this is why comes a new function, and let's see how does that work. Yeah, it's getting pretty exciting, and for that I would be using these two keyframes as well. So let me just comment them out. This is called blink 25 glow, blink 75 glow. Let's see what do they mean here. And let me just also get this function back from comments. So this get glow says that if the percentage value, which is like a percentage type, a parameter, again another parameter in our functions, and if that, and this is an if, which is like functions and ifs are two new things, and you will have to learn the syntax for them. I will make sure to provide some other resources which you can just go and take a look at. But just for an understanding, an if statement has multiple nested ifs inside it. It also has the else inside of the if, and the way that it checks the if is like by adding a style and just checking if that percentage, let's say this parameter here, or if certain some left side thing is equal to certain some right side thing. So something like an if, and then something like style to check, and then an LFS left hand side, and an RHS right hand side, left hand side, not face side, yeah. And then when those are equal, just get the result or whatever you want to do from there. So yeah, this is how our if is. It has the style percentage 25, which will give us this animation, but if the percentage is 75, it would give us this animation. And as there is an else, which would say that if both of them are like not, which wouldn't happen, but we have still made an else just to show like else exists. But yeah, if there was a case where we provide a percentage which was like not 25, not 75, then it will just go to this else part. And let's take a look like what are the keyframes, because those are the most important part. So instead of making the glow 50% bright 50% dark like we had for blink, like this was a stepper function with 50% dark 50% light, we wanted 25% glow and 75% dark for blink 25, and 25% dark and 75% glow for blink 75, which was the keyframe that was needed to make the animation appear the way it is. So for you, I would want you to understand what are if and functions, which is something that you might have seen with the syntax here. The part that is like more tricky would be like how the animations and everything come into play, which was like more mathematical. You have to see like what time and what calculations go with it. For me, I just saw that if I was just using my get animation directly, then the dots were disappearing much faster, and I had to make sure that this appeared 75% of the time, that appeared 25% of the time, and I just adjusted my globe just cater to that. So yeah, now we have both left and right side moving, like both my bars on the left and right. Yeah, bars is the like correct word, I think, bars or rods on the left and right side are moving, but let's make the dot move, and I think that would be the most interesting part here. So before I make the dot move, I will just copy this much of line, and I'm going to do something with this, uh, is that I'm going to show you like what is the path. To show you the path, I'm just going to change this to something like fill, not file, fill red, and I'm going to fill red on all of these. Like, these numbers are not just random, right? These numbers do mean something. So as you can see, we have been covering this particular dot path, and this is why I chose these numbers. I will just highlight so you can just see them better. 16, 12, 8, 14, 20 in the right order as we move from this to this. So these are like they do mean something, and this one is 16, which is like 1 to 5 is here, 6 to 10 is here. So 11, 12, 12 is this one, and 12 to 15 is 11 to 15 is there. So 16 would be this. So 16 is this one, 12 is this one, 8 is this one, 14 is this one, and 20 is this one, and 21 to 25 were these, like the last rows, right? So we have the right elements to do our animation with, and let's see like how the center animation works like. So for that, I'll be commenting out this part. Again, purely mathematical, some things that required me to create this get blink, which is like another function. And yeah, we are just learning functions here, and we have just filled out this kind of these dots. I don't worry about like why I use 4n here. I used 4n because I wanted to cover up the cases with 4 was already colored with the previous nth of type. I just had to make sure 8, 12, 16, 20 were covered, and 24 was already colored because of the previous nth of type and all. So I had to make sure that these were colored, as well as nth of type 14, which I have used here, but we could just change it to, for better understanding, like all of the particular nth of time from 60, 12, I'm just writing it randomly here, 8 and 20, and 14 is already here. So yeah, we could have done it that way. This is also okay. Even removing that is okay, because we have the color dim on rec already. Like it's not needed, but I wanted to make sure that if this is a separate part of the question, then this has this particular necessity of filling the dim color first. So yeah, that's what it is. Next thing, we have nth of type 16, 12, 8, 14 and 20, and we are passing the same parameter as the nth of type here with the get blink. So what does that mean? Like, what is that? We need to understand this, right? So let's take a look at like what it is, how does it work, what does it do. For this, we have separate keyframes for each of them, because you know that this kind of ping pong ball moving from there to there is not something that a single keyframe would do. Maybe it could if there's like a very mathematical solution to it, but let's understand like this keyframe, because this one is a bit different from the others. We are saying with a difference of 11.1, and this is something that I have just calculated, that I want to glow once and dim once, and then again for 88 I want to glow once and dim once, which is like I want a forward action for glowing, and I want a backward action when the ball just goes back. And this particular forward and backward, this particular shape that it makes would be like a, I would say a greater than equal to, or something like this kind of a shape, less than equal to shape it makes, is what dictates the single animation. So when that is completed, a single animation is completed. This is how glow 16 is made, and this is like a single dot. We also have glow 12, which is again a 11.1 difference, which is just I've calculated so the dot moves correctly. But yeah, we have again made a glow and a dim for this, and for 8, 14 and all of them we have these kind of configurations for glow and dim. And we are very close to finishing this off, but let's understand really well. and then we have decided, yeah, this is the get blink. Oh, this started moving. Whoa. So we have this get blink and we have this key, and we are saying that this key decides my keyframe. This is the same key which you have seen that why I'm giving the numbers there. So like 8, 14, and everything. So here we have the time set to 2.5, just made it here. So if I have to change my variable is just on the top. But this is a glow animation, this is a linear infinite animation that works, and this is linear, this is not step, because we are making it in such a way that our percentages are so accurate that it just stays for like a single fraction of second, and then the color changes automatically. So our keyframes themselves are handling the correct color duration, which is like very short, and this is why it works out of the box. And yeah, this makes our dot work. We have this get bling that has given us this animation, and we have our keyframes decided. So the takeaway from this is to understand functions, understand the syntax, and then make your animations, because if I were to just scrape off the if and scrape off the functions, this is nothing but just your animations with some delays to make this kind of thing work out. So yeah, that was it. I believe that with that I would come to the end of this particular linear loading UI that I wanted to show. But I also wanted to talk a bit about my journey here. I wanted to take some time to reflect on, and I think that it's the best way would be to show this thing, a journey blog that I write. So one incredible thing happened that I became a Google developer expert on the web, recognition by Google, so that I could uh, show my expertise on the web and just help out the community and have some kind of collaboration with everyone. This is not a full time by Google, which is very different from this. This is a recognition from Google to say that yeah, you are very much helping out on the web front, and this is a way to show that you are an expert or one of the experienced persons on the web. So yeah, that was a really nice thing that happened, but it wasn't only that thing that happened. I also got to give a community talk at Mozilla MDN. I also got to give a Google I/O. I would say not give a Google I/O, but an attendee at Google I/O in San Francisco, which was a really nice gesture from Googlers that I was present there and I was able to show my strength in the web and be able to talk loud with the developers and the Googlers there. I also had my first ever Google interview, a screening round of the Google interview itself at the Google I/O. So it was very interesting that I am still in the process of scheduling queue for a role at Google. Hopefully, I would get it, and this is where I am trying really hard to get through this. Also, yeah, I am doing some exploration with Kenji, which is a Chrome senior product manager, and you can just read all my journey from here. But yeah, these are some of the exciting things that I'm doing, because there are new proofreader and all APIs. And as a GD and as someone who wants to really go into the Chrome team and has been doing some CSS and stuff, I find it really exciting to just help out wherever I can. I also had a talk at MDN Mozilla, so I got to do a live talk. I think I've already told that. And they are also doing some kind of blogs with me, and I would be appearing in some shorts on MDN. So this is really exciting journey. The next part is I was also in the Google I/O Connect India, and this is where helping developers was the forefront for me. Web UI was a booth where developers were very much engaged and talking about carousels. I got a chance to be at that particular Web UI booth, and just coincidentally, I had some knowledge that I could share, and the web ecosystem team there just really loved it. So that has led to significantly more opportunities for me. I'm really trying to become someone who is helping out to open sourcer, to someone who is actually professionally working as a DevRel. And yeah, this has so far been my journey. Just contribute, and just keep making demos, examples, just showcase yourself, have that visibility out, and it would just help in the long run. So yeah, that's my take, and hope you have a very nice day ahead.